We hear about these huge companies all the time, right? But what is a company, really? Like, if you strip away the logos and the stock prices, what's left? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look at the anatomy of a company, piece by piece.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about how a company like Apple or Amazon actually works? It can feel like this big, complicated, almost magical thing. But here's the secret. It's not magic. It's a system. And it's a system that applies whether you're Apple or just the local coffee shop. So let's map it out.
Okay, so let's start at the very, very beginning, the most basic level. An organization is just, well, it's a group of people working together on something. That's it. And a company? That's just a specific kind of organization, one that's usually focused on business.
And companies come in all shapes and sizes, right? You've got these massive multinational corporations with, over 50,000 employees. But then you also have a small local business, maybe with just 59 people. The scale is just completely different. But what's fascinating is that the basic building blocks are often the same.
Yeah, and it's not just about the number of people. It's about where they are. Some companies are purely local. Others are national, with a presence in every major city. And then, of course, you've got the global players, with offices literally all over the world.
So how do they manage all that? Well, typically, there's a main office, the headquarters, or HQ. Think of it as the command center, the brain of the operation. And then you have branch offices scattered around in different cities or countries, kind of like satellites, all feeding information back to that central hub.
All right, so that's the physical layout, but now let's go inside. Let's look at the engine itself, the different parts that make the whole thing work. We're talking about the departments.
You see, to get anything done efficiently, companies divide up the work. They create these specialized teams called departments. I'm sure you've heard of a bunch of these. HR, IT, R&D, marketing. The whole point is to have a group of people who are experts at one thing so the entire company can run smoothly.
Let's kick things off with a big one, human resources, or HR. This is the people department. They're the ones who find and hire new employees, but they also take care of the people who are already there. Think payroll, benefits, all that stuff. They pretty much manage an employee's entire journey with the company. And you've got the department that is, let's be honest, the backbone of pretty much every company today. Information technology, or IT, right? If your computer freezes or you can't get into your email, who do you call? IT. They manage all the tech, from laptops and networks to cybersecurity.
Okay, now for the cool part. There's a department that's all about inventing the future, research and development, or R&D. This is the company's ideas lab. I mean, think about the team at Apple that came up with the first iPhone. That's R&D. Their whole job is to dream up what's coming next.
But, it's one thing to invent something amazing. It's another to get people to know about it. And that's where marketing comes in. They are the storytellers. They figure out how to tell the world about this new product and, why you should care about it.
So we've got all these different departments, each doing its own thing. But who's in charge? Who's calling the shots? That brings us to the chain of command, the company hierarchy. And this should look pretty familiar. It's the classic corporate ladder. It's basically a pyramid. At the very top, you've got the president, who sets the big picture. Then you've got vice presidents and directors running the big departments. Under them are the managers, who lead smaller teams. And finally, you have the employees and representatives who are doing the hands-on, day-to-day work. This whole structure gives us a really important idea: reporting to someone. So when you hear something like, the sales reps report to Miss Lake, all that means is that Miss Lake is their boss. It's the official line of communication, how information flows up and down that ladder.
And the verb for what that manager does is to supervise. A supervisor or a manager, their job isn't just to tell people what to do. It's about guiding the team, making sure they're on track, and helping them get their work done.
Okay, so we've got the different departments, and we've got the chain of command. But how do we talk about what each person's role actually is? Well, it turns out there's a super simple formula for this, a little secret key.
Let's give it a shot. For example, what exactly is a director? We saw that title on the ladder, but what does it mean?
Easy. A director is a person who manages a department. See that? That little word "who" is the key. It connects the person to the action they perform.
All right, let's try another one, a little further down the ladder. How about a sales representative?
Same formula. A sales representative is a person who sells products or services. See the pattern? It's just a person who does, and then you fill in the blank. It's a really simple way to define just about any job.
Okay, that makes sense for people, right? We use the word "who."
But what if we're trying to define a company itself or some other kind of thing?
Well, the pattern just changes a tiny bit. A service provider is a company that provides services. That's it. We just swap who for that when we're not talking about a person. It's the exact same simple, powerful idea.
So when you pull all of this together, you start to see it, don't you? A company isn't just a building or a logo. It's a system. It's a carefully structured network of people and departments where everyone has their own specific job to do, all working towards the same goal.
So at the end of the day, a company really boils down to three things: people, products, and the rules that connect them. We've looked at the structure, we've looked at the departments, but it kind of leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? Of all those people, from the president all the way down, who is the one person that truly defines whether a company succeeds or fails?